Hi everyone, it's Patty from Wakanda Area Library. Thanks for joining me for this virtual adult craft class. Our springtime class is a fabric bunny. So I have our finished version here. I think it is super cute. So I've shown you how to get started. I just want to talk you through a few things that I think are worth talking about. So on this one, I've sewn the whole thing with the straight stitch. So I know a lot of you are seasoned sewers and you need no reviews on sewing. So I'm not going to go through it, but for those of you that may need a review or maybe you need some extra help, what I want you to do is look at the video that I linked right after this one on our YouTube channel, Fabric Hearts. On that one, I go through the straight stitch and I show you how to do it. I show you how to knot, how to start, how to end the project. So all of those beginner tips are on that video. What I want to do now is let's talk about some tips about getting the fabric bunny. So this option is the sewn option. And for those of you who are refusing, you don't want to do the sewing, I'm going to give you a no sew option. But right now, let's talk about the sewn option. So as you can see, I like the straight stitch here. Again, we did an accenting fabric so you can really see the stitching. And I'm going to show you here, you can bend the ears. They're so cute. You can have them up, you can have them down, a little floppy ear. I think it's great. And at the end, I gave everybody 2 different ribbons. So you have a fatter ribbon for like a collar or maybe a bow. You have a black ribbon, you can wrap it around. You can do a long dangly bow like I did. And I did end up including the wire. So I did give you some floral wire. I put it in a bag, so just be careful when you're pulling your kit out. So this is in there, and what you're gonna wanna do is just bend it. Bend it, and you're gonna really kind of make like 2 loops. And you're gonna put those inside the ear if you want them to be floppy ears. I think it adds to the look of it. And also, don't throw out the plastic bag. Why, you ask? Because if you want this guy to stand up, I took this plastic bag. Now I'm not giving you this part because I'm assuming everybody should have something at home. Like right here, I have some rice. So you want to take this rice and fill it up about halfway, get the air out, seal it up really good. And when you get down to the bottom of the project, you're gonna put that in there. It's gonna act like a weight so you can have this project standing up. If you already have ideas, maybe this is going by your dining room table or mantle and you're gonna lean it on something and you don't wanna put anything inside, that's fine. But anything is gonna work. If you wanna put dried beans or popcorn kernels, dried rice, just make sure it's something dried that's gonna stay. Any of that is going to work. So now, what I want to tell you, what I learned from doing this project is, I think it's best to start sewing in a corner. You're going to come up a side like I've shown you and go all the way around, and I would stop at the end of the second ear. Because if you go all the way down to the bottom without stopping, it's hard to get that wire up into the ear and to stuff these because they're a little bit thinner. So you don't need too much stuffing. I'm sure you have more than enough in your kit. A little bit goes a long way. But I think you should stop sewing about here, and then let's do the ears, and then we're gonna continue on. So now that you have that, and then before we go on to the next no sew version, sew down after you're done with the ears, stuff the top half, go down, finish stitching the rest with your straight stitch. Again, stop here, if you're gonna add your bag of rice, stuff the rest, add your rice bag in, and then sew all the way to the end. So now we're gonna do one together, except this is gonna be our no-sew version. So I'm gonna put this one aside for just a minute. So here's another one that I've cut out, and this is our no-sew version. So I've already started gluing with hot glue. I glued here, 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 and here, and I stopped here like I told you, because now we're gonna stuff these ears together. I think it looks pretty cute. If you're gonna do this, I think hot glue is the way to go. What I am gonna suggest is this. I think everybody should sew it, but if you wanna get this done quicker, you wanna replicate this and make a bunch, hot glue is gonna make it much faster. But if you're gonna glue the edges, you don't want all these bumps. So you really, if you need something like these little finger protectors, because you need to push that down. Maybe an eraser on a pencil will do, but I feel like this prevented my fingers from getting burnt and also allowed me to push this down really good so I don't get those bumps. Another option, if you have any sort of fabric glue at home, this would work too. The only thing is you have to wait for it to dry. If you try stuffing these ears right now after you glue it, it's not gonna hold. So you'll have to do it in little start and stop sessions. Like do the ears, let it dry completely, come back, glue the rest, then stuff and finish it. So, but right now I have this portion glued. So I'm gonna take these guys off. I'm gonna open it. So I already have them cut. Don't forget fabric out. I've said that a couple times on both sides. So here you can see where that is, right? And so now what we're ready to do is do some wire. And it doesn't take too much. Let me see, I'm gonna do more, I think on this. Let's kind of divide it a little better. Let's divide it up. And since we have more space, so I'm gonna slide this one in, and that's all the way up there. Oop, and so you can see where I didn't have enough glue, right? So that is the problem with glue. So let's go back. I tried to do the hot glue super, super light because I didn't want that bumpy look, but I just wanted to give you guys an option for those of you who maybe were a little nervous about this because it was a sewing project. Okay, so let's line it up. And press it down. So we have that wire in there. And now we're going to do the next one. Okay, let's bend it. Let's see if we can slide that up there as far as we can. Just need a little. There we go. So that's in there. And now just take little bits of your stuffing. And again, this is going to be much easier because I didn't sew it all the way down or glue it. So let's turn this, and now we're going to have to push some stuffing up there. You just have to take a little bit at a time, especially if you're glued it, you want to be really careful because you don't want that to pop. I didn't have any problem with any of the fluff coming out of the stitching. You almost need like a little darning needle, like a longer needle or something to poke it up there. let's get some in our other side. There's so many cute different fabrics for this bunny. I think this is great if you have some little remnants sitting around your house. Keep your pattern. I really like it. I feel like I want to make a couple more. All right, let's add a little bit more here. So you can keep going. You have all the time in the world, which is one nice thing about these virtual craft classes. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a novice. You can take as much time as you need, and that's the thing. Sometimes sewing this project, it can take some people well over an hour to get it the way that they want it. Other people are able to get done really, really quickly. So take your time, stop the video as much as you want to. It's hard sometimes, maybe a little boring hearing me talk you through these, but I think the end project is worth it. Okay. All right, so we didn't need too much there. Let's get that out of there. See, and that's where I can see this is kind of the pitfall of the glue. I got another little spot that just popped open there. But that's an easy fix. Like I said, I didn't have that with the embroidery floss. But I wanted to give an option for everybody. Okay, let's go ahead. Now line your fabric back up as much as you can. I want to try and get that even there. It's just that wire. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead now and continue with our gluing. I'm just gonna do one section at a time. Don't do the whole thing. You don't want the hot glue to dry on you. So let's do the rest of the little bunny face. Try to smooth it out so it's not lumpy and bumpy. It down. There we go. Okay, skipped a little hole right there, so let's get that covered. Fuse those fabric pieces together. Lined up. Let's press that down. Let's get it on both sides. Press it together really good. The longest part is the ears. It just takes a little longer to get the filling in there. And if anybody's positive they're gonna glue, I'm not opposed to anybody bringing the embroidery floss back if you're not going to use it for anything. Because we do really use everything here. Try to be careful with our budget money and especially our craft money. We all know craft supplies can get very expensive at times, depending on what it is. Go. Almost at the bottom. glue side, if one just does not line up quite the way you want, I bet the other side is lined up better. Or you can take some little scissors and trim off any fabric that doesn't match up exactly. Because I know it's hard with the glue to get everything to match up perfectly. Okay, let's make sure we got everything there. Oh yeah. Okay, so now that's all glued. We're gonna go ahead and use our stuffing. It is time to stuff. Just again, for the head, just take a little bit of fluff at a time to get it through there. Work it up. Again, if you have something, push it over. You need to stick more in the ears. Use whatever you have at home to do that. Use your hands on the outside. See if you have room for any other stuffing. Try and make that a little more filled. Okay, now we're at the bottom. So leave a good amount of space. Why don't we do our rice bag, see how much room that takes, and then if we have more room for stuffing, we'll add some more. Should be about enough just to hold it in place. Try and get all the air out. Okay. I also saw if for some reason you run out of stuffing that you can shred plastic bags and cut them up, and it acts as a filling. So if you want a new use for your leftover grocery bags, if you use those, I thought that was pretty ingenious. It looked really good. I actually saw it with a project just like this. So what a way, you can use recycled fabric from home, and you can also use your bags and recycle them. I think we want to make sure we're able to close it, so let's try and see if we can get a little more stuffing in. We want to be able to close that. So I get this back on and get my hot glue gun. So see, I still have plenty of fluff left. Shove that up, pull that fluff up there, and then when we stand it up, it'll naturally come down. I just don't want to glue the fluff. So now, whether you're sewing or gluing, finish this part, and then you would sew across if you're sewing. Right now on the video, I'm gluing with you. So I'm just going to do a little bit at a time so I get it lined up good. Okay, let's do one more. Pretty amazed how well this is sticking. Pinch that. Wow, I am very amazed. I had my doubts if hot glue would work, and it did. I really thought sewing was the way to go. So you have to be patient with the glue, do a little bit at a time so you can get the fabric lined up. Your choice. I feel like there's a little bit more of some detail showing when you use the embroidery floss, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So if you really just don't want to sew, don't have the time or the patience for it, ta-da, you have your hot glue version. If you want to use the embroidery floss I gave you, that would be great. So if any of you, sometimes I know it's fun to watch the video before you come and pick up the craft. If you know when you're coming to pick it up that you're not going to use that floss, like I said, you can just tell them at the desk and I'll set them all aside, and that way I'll have some embroidery floss for another project. And we still have our ribbon as well. So you can do it however you want. What I did was take just a tiny bit of this orange. I didn't make a bow with it. I just cut it and made a band. So let's measure. So I'm only going to use about this much. So you can use a band if you want to. Just glue the end. Put that around. Let that dry for a minute. There we go. And then I found some great raffia ribbon. Love this. I think I ordered this online from Michaels. I originally was going to do regular raffia ribbon, but that can get so messy. This is just a little bit neater. And you can wrap it around as much as you want. Make a couple bows, so everybody should have plenty of different ribbon. Everybody has some kind of raffia ribbon. Get the ribbon the way that you want it first. And I didn't make everything all black, I know. I like black. Not everybody does, but there's plenty of other colors. Or you can always switch out. A lot of you have extra ribbon at home. I know I save ribbon. Use something else at home if you don't like mine. Tried to give a variety. So there we go. And I think on this one, I'll cut these a little bit shorter. Ta-da! There you go. You have your fabric ribbon with or without embroidery floss, your choice. There's your little bendable ears though. Oh, those are so cute. So I love you can have a couple of these. If you want to have some extra fabric at home, you can make them however you like. Very cute. I hope you have enjoyed our spring adult craft class. This is the only one that I'm holding this spring, but I am in the works. We are going to have 3 very big, great classes outside on the library lawn this summer. So I look forward to seeing you outside during those summer months, and hopefully we'll get some great craft projects done. So I will see you soon at the library. Thanks for joining me today. Bye. Once you pick out your material for your bunny, you're gonna go ahead, and I've given everybody a pattern. So enclosed you have your bunny. You can go ahead and cut yours out. And then once you cut it out, you can trace it on your fabric. So I did mine just in a pencil. So it's traced on there, and then I pinned the edges. So you're just gonna take some straight pins because I'm doing both pieces together, and you want the pattern out on both sides. So that's why I thought just trace the one. You don't wanna accidentally do the other one, the reverse side. So have both the patterns out, straight pins. I did it on 3 edges. I didn't do it on the bottom because we're gonna be cutting here. So now I'm gonna go ahead with some sharp scissors, and I'm gonna cut right on top of my pencil marking.